What if the fear holding you back could become the fire that moves you forward? Imagine stepping into a virtual boardroom, heart pounding, palms sweaty. You feel like you're about to speak to a room full of executives, and you are. But here's the twist. You're still standing in your living room, in socks and sweats, wearing a VR headset. That right there is the new frontier of confidence. Welcome to the world where fear becomes a training ground, not a dead end. 1. Immersion meets real-world courage. Let's get real for a second. We all carry fears, some loud, some subtle. Public speaking, heights, conflict, social rejection, you name it. But what if instead of avoiding those triggers, we trained for them? Like going to the gym, but for your bravery. That's what immersive exposure does. It's not about diving headfirst into the deep end. It's about stepping into the shallow water, getting used to the temperature, then gradually moving deeper. Progressive, voluntary, empowered. Because the more often you face your fear, even virtually, the more your brain learns, hey, I can handle this. Every time you step into a controlled challenge, whether it's real or virtual, you send a new signal to your nervous system. We're not in danger, we're in training. 2. Harnessing VR for safe, graded fear-facing. Let's zoom into VR. This isn't just gaming, it's transformation. You start with a VR simulation of public speaking. First, it's one friendly avatar sitting in front of you. Then 5. Then 100. And as your heart rate spikes, the tech responds, helping you breathe, adjust your tone, and stay present. It's exposure therapy without the stakes, but with all the benefits. Got a fear of heights? Try standing on a virtual deck first, then a rooftop, then the edge of a skyscraper. Your brain doesn't care if it's real. It's learning how to stay calm, composed, and capable, no matter how high the climb. These simulations mirror the real-world ladder of growth. First, practice a pitch to a friend, then present in a small meeting. Later, speak on a panel. And the beauty? The feedback is instant. Heart rate, eye tracking, voice projection. It's like having a personalized coach whispering, "You've got this." Let's talk about tech, specifically virtual reality, not just for gamers anymore. In this space, VR becomes a fear lab, a beautifully designed arena where you can face what scares you, without the real-world consequences. Say public speaking makes your palms sweat. You step into a VR simulation. At first, it's just one friendly avatar smiling back at you. No pressure. You speak. Your voice wobbles. That's okay. Next session? A few more avatars. Then a full virtual auditorium. And suddenly, your nerves start to settle. You're not just surviving this, you're getting stronger. Afraid of heights? In VR, you start on a backyard deck. Next, a balcony. Then a skyscraper. But here's the magic. Your brain reacts as if it's real. Your heartbeat rises, your palms sweat. But it's a controlled storm. And in that storm, you learn to stand tall. This isn't fantasy, it's neuroscience. Each exposure session rewires your brain just a little. And the coolest part? Many VR programs use biofeedback, tracking your heart rate, vocal tone, even breathing, to adjust the challenge. It's like having a personal fear coach tuned into your physiology. 3. Translating immersive wins into real-world triumphs. This is where it gets exciting, the shift from virtual courage to real-life transformation. You conquer the fear of falling in a VR climb. The next week, you take your kid rock climbing for the first time, and you lead the way. You nail a mock interview in the metaverse. A few days later, you walk into a real hiring manager's office, steady and sharp. Why? Because every immersive win rewires the brain's fear response. You're building new neural highways, routes that lead to strength, calm, and self-trust. As one user put it, I went from shaking during a VR speech to leading a seminar in my community center. The shift wasn't just in the tech, it was in me. That's the power of exposure. Fear loses its grip. You take the lead. Now here's the turning point, transferring virtual victories into real-life confidence. You stood on a VR ledge. Awesome. Next step? Climb a small bouldering wall. Take a nature hike with steep views. Your body already knows how to calm itself. It learned that in the virtual world. Now it applies it in the real one. Did a VR job interview? Fantastic. Follow it up with a mock interview with a friend. Then join a networking event, even if it's just a casual meetup. The neural pathways have already started forming. Each small win strengthens them. This is how we rewire fear. not by pretending we're fearless, but by building familiarity with discomfort. Over time, what once felt like panic becomes just effort, then challenge, then confidence. Listen to people who've done this. "I used to tremble at the idea of speaking in public," said one user. "But after a few rounds in VR, I signed up to lead a workshop at my community center. I didn't just show up, I nailed it." That's not magic. That's exposure therapy fused with immersive technology, and it's changing lives. 4. Engaging immersive experiences beyond phobias. Now let's go beyond fears. Imagine leadership labs where you manage a crisis in VR, then test those skills leading a volunteer project. Or VR empathy journeys where you walk in someone else's shoes. You step out with tears in your eyes and sign up to volunteer at a local shelter the next day. There are puzzle-based challenges that train your brain in logic and calm under pressure. And you translate that into better decision-making at work or in your relationships. It's not just about fear. It's about capability, insight, grit, growth. Virtual reality gives us the first reps, but life is where we build the muscle. Let's take this deeper, because immersive experiences aren't just for conquering fears, they're for cultivating greatness. Imagine stepping into a VR leadership simulation. You're the captain of a team in crisis. The pressure's on. Every decision matters. You practice staying calm, directing others, making smart calls under stress. Now translate that into real life. Maybe it's managing a volunteer project, leading a small team meeting, or even resolving family conflicts. You've already rehearsed the mental muscle memory. Now you're ready. Or how about this? Critical thinking games in VR. You solve puzzles, navigate moral dilemmas, make decisions with consequences. Then suddenly you're organizing your week better, managing your time more effectively, solving real problems with greater confidence. That's the transfer effect in action. But one of the most beautiful uses of immersive tech? Empathy. Picture this. You walk through the world in someone else's shoes. Maybe as a refugee, a differently abled person, or someone facing discrimination. You feel their world from the inside. Now go volunteer. Have that tough conversation. Step up as a more compassionate, socially aware human. VR cracks open your heart so your actions in the real world can follow. 5. Integrating immersive exposure into your routine. Let's make this practical. Set up a weekly bravery workout. Monday is your VR climb. Friday, you call someone you've been avoiding. Wednesday, you attend a live webinar and ask a question. Every time you push the boundary, even by 2%, you're expanding what's possible. Combine your simulations with real missions. Journal your progress. Log your wins. Track how far you've come. Because guess what? Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet and consistent. That's how you build unstoppable momentum. All right, now we build the system. This isn't a one-off adrenaline rush. It's a practice. Just like going to the gym, you create your own bravery workout. Start simple. One VR session a week paired with one real-world challenge. Let's say on Monday you face a virtual crowd in a speaking sim. By Wednesday, you're joining a group call or raising your hand in a meeting. That rhythm builds resilience. Mix it up with hybrid sessions. Maybe you prep in VR, then attend an online webinar and contribute a thought in the chat. Or simulate a conflict resolution scenario, then apply it during a conversation with your team or partner. This is how we bridge the gap. And don't skip tracking. Keep a courage journal or a simple app to log what you've conquered. Celebrate each win. Doesn't matter how small. You didn't just face fear, you danced with it, grew from it, and walked away more alive. 6. Future frontiers. Personalized exposure pathways. We're just getting started. Imagine a future where your VR system learns your fear patterns, where AI designs the perfect next challenge for your journey. Your smartwatch detects when you're about to panic, and the app gently nudges you. Time for a 3-minute grounding session. This isn't science fiction. This is where we're headed. A world where tech doesn't numb us, it strengthens us. Where we don't escape reality, we train for it. Intentionally, joyfully, bravely. Now let's look ahead. We're entering a future where AI understands not just your fear, but how you uniquely experience it. Your own data, your growth curve, your comfort zones and thresholds. Imagine an AI coach that adjusts the challenge, nudges you gently or pushes you harder when you're ready, whether it's virtual or physical. And wearables? They'll monitor your stress, your breath, your heart rhythms, and feed it right back into the system, making your fear training smarter, more intuitive, and hyper-personalized. But here's the heart of it all. The biggest growth doesn't come from avoiding fear. It comes from choosing to meet it, bit by bit, moment by moment, until it no longer owns you. Call to action. Step into your power, so here's your mission. Choose one fear. Just one. Doesn't have to be dramatic. Maybe it's speaking up. Maybe it's setting boundaries. Maybe it's climbing that ladder or clicking join on that call. Design a two-step plan this week. One virtual or imagined, one real. Step into it. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, but voluntarily. Because true confidence isn't born from never feeling fear. It's born from walking forward anyway. This is your path. This is your power. And you're already on it. So here's your move. Pick one fear, big or small. Design a two-step exposure plan. First, simulate. Then stretch. It could be VR. It could be real life. The point is, you're not running anymore. You're rising. Because confronting what terrifies us, incrementally and by choice, is the most direct path to power, to peace, and to unshakable confidence. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing. Let this be your first step, and I'll meet you on the path. Let's go.